Hey everyone, Scott Johnson here with Pitt Home Buyers, and today we're going to do something a little out of the norm. We're going to do a focus point, which I like to call it because I'm driving my Ford Focus. And the reason I'm doing it is because what I want to do is discuss a topic that I can kind of dive a little deeper on and just kind of speak more from the heart than anything, because in this day and age, you can get caught up in making sure you have all the right lines to say on your videos and making sure they're perfect and editing them until they're just to perfection. And in that, you just lose some of the humanity. You lose some of the realism that goes along, that should be connected to it, because you always want to make that deep connection. In marketing, that's one thing you always want to do, is make the connection with that other person. And so we're going to do some focus points. And I'm actually driving right now to my grandparents' house because last year, all right, and they didn't realize it until this year when they went to file their return. Since 2014, my grandparents haven't filed a return because they're retired. People told them they don't have to, so they didn't. Well, last year, someone that wasn't them filed singly for my grandfather. So of course they will be filing for every year now, but and so there's a possible identity theft situation that we're going to go remediate. So we got to call the IRS. Oh my God. But it's just one of those things that happens in life. Our information is everywhere now, and it can be scary. I mean, it can be downright frightening to think, hey, someone is using my name and acquiring my money, or even using my cards, opening accounts in my name, and it could demolish your credit. It could, it's just crazy. And we can come across those situations when it comes to selling our house or even buying a house as well. There's a lot of uncertainty involved. No more uncertainty than one of the first deals that we ever did. We actually were working with a mother and a daughter over in Aden. And their grandparent, the daughter's grandparents and her mother and father, were buried on the property. So they were in a situation where they had to move out of state to Pennsylvania, and they've been there for years. And the property just sat there. And so we approached them and said, hey, you want to sell it? And they said, yeah, but... Right? So what we did was we were actually able to work out a situation, work out a plan. We sat down with them, figured out, hey, how much are you going to need? Finding out the net's important. And then, we said, okay, cool. Well, if we do this, this, and this, well, then your parents being moved are paid for, because they wanted to move them to a different cemetery anyway. But they didn't have the money because it was going to cost $18,000 to do it. Yeah, it is expensive. So we were able to work out a plan where, we were able to help them get them moved to a different place. Our team was able to, flip the property. Our buddy Aaron was the one who did it and made it absolutely gorgeous. So if you drive down County Home Road, heading outside of Greenville, away from the farmer's market, then you're going to see after you pass 102, after you get around the big curb with the hunting dog farm on the left, not farm, that's a horrible thing to say, a place on the left, you're going to see a big blue house with a big blue barn in the backyard, and that is it. And of course, that's a real uncertain situation, especially when you're relying on someone to move your parents who have been buried there for years. I apologize, I'm getting a little bit, guess morbid, but these situations happen, Same thing with if you inherit a property with, let's say, 5 or 6, maybe even 10 family members. Or to complicate things, maybe, you have 3 family members, one passed away, and they have 5 kids. That's going to complicate things, right? And, there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of things that you could just be like, oh my God, this could go wrong, this could go wrong. And all of a sudden, you're just locked there in limbo. The property sits. It just starts to decay. I mean, a lot of people think, oh, I had this gentleman I was talking to at Aden, and he's got a property that is literally decaying. Floors caving in, roof leaking like crazy. And he's like, oh, well, I need $8,500 for it. I'm like, well, I'd love to give you that, but there's no way that I could make those numbers work, right? And this is a real, just like a property in an area where that number kind of is closer to the norm when it comes to properties that are in this kind of condition. And he was like, well, I got to get $8,500. And I'm like, man, I just can't make those numbers work. And he said, well, I'll just hold it because real estate prices always go up, right? And I mean, yeah, technically real estate prices do go up when the property is maintained, but when it's decomposing right before your very eyes, that's not a thing that happens. Same thing with foreclosure. Say you're in foreclosure, you may be behind in one of your mortgage payments, even just one. Because remember, when you miss a mortgage payment, you are paying for the month prior. So if you are paying your June mortgage payment, you're actually paying for the time you spent there in May, right? It's called being paid in arrears. So once you miss your mortgage payment, you are already 30 days behind. You're already delinquent and pending foreclosure. A lot of people don't know that. And, it can get downright scary, especially if you're like, well, I'm dealing with this big bank, and you know how hard it is to get them on the phone. And then when they start calling you, it gets even worse, because then they're calling you for money that you may not even have at that point. And even if you're, taking the affirmative action and saying, hey, I'm going to talk to the bank, I'm going to work out a plan, it is still one of the most uncomfortable things that you could ever imagine, right? And so these uncomfortable situations come up on the daily, no matter who you are, no matter where you live. And it's important that you just understand that there are organizations out there to help you with it, right? But you have to take that affirmative action. Just like I was saying with the foreclosure and going to the bank or talking to the bank about it. Even when you're looking to sell a property that you inherited with a bunch of heirs, it may be uncomfortable going to them and saying, hey, I need to, we need to go ahead and sell this thing, right? Because some people, a lot of those properties have emotional value tagged on them, or attached to them, and you kind of wish sometimes you could quantify that value when you're buying a house. When we're talking to our clients, and they're like, well, the kids grew up here, and or my grandparents, raised my mom and dad in this house. And, you just wish you could quantify that. But unfortunately, it's not something that we can quantify. And it doesn't matter if you're working with a real estate agent, or if you're working with a home buyer, or if you're selling the property yourself. Sellers just, unless they grew up with you, they don't have that perceived value, So, and so the thing that's important to understand is when you find yourself in an uncertain situation, a situation where you just don't know what's going to happen, and you're needing to make a move, just start moving. Just take that step. Take that one first step. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. So take that step. Analyze your options. Say, hey, listen, if you are selling a house, all right, obviously MLS is on fire right now. Like, it is just on fire. You put something on the market, it's going to fly. But the thing is that if you're putting it on the market, there's going to be that uncertainty. What if we can't find a buyer? What if no one wants the house, right? What if I have to do a whole bunch of stuff I don't want to do just to sell it? Like, what if I'm in the middle of cooking dinner and they say, oh no, hey, listen, you got to get out. We got to show your house. What if I'm working all the time? I don't have the time to clean. I don't have the time to keep, the house spotless and in showing condition. Obviously, we're all clean, but, in showing condition. And I just don't have the time to get out that extra furniture and get those extra pictures down, of the family, because they want to make sure it's neutral. I just don't have that time. There's a lot of uncertainty. And also, with everything going on in the world, who's walking through my house? So just making sure to take action, know what your options are, because some people who don't want to list on the MLS, don't want to go through that uncertainty, they can get multiple types of offers through a company, a credible home buyer. So just make sure that if you get in those uncertain situations, sit down with a professional or just your family members and discuss it. Say, hey, we need to know our options. What can we do? And if you have any questions about it, doesn't necessarily have to be about real estate, just, whatever you guys need help with. Hey, just reach out to us. We're more than happy to sit down with. Obviously, we're not attorneys, right? Or we're not CPAs, so we can't go that far into it. But, just if you have a challenge you're going through and you need just to talk it out, just reach out to us. We're always here. So I hope you guys like this. If you did like it, go ahead and subscribe. We're going to have some more focus points coming your way. I'm actually at my grandparents' house now, so I got to pony up, get in there, and call the IRS. Woohoo! But also, if you like this, go ahead and like it. And if you know someone who you think would find value in this, go ahead and share it. Copy the link, post it on Facebook, or just text them in a text message. And just say, hey, listen, this might help, especially if they're going through some uncertain times and they kind of need to, just a way to refocus on what's important. Anyway, you guys, I hope you have a fantastic day. I'm going to get out here and get this thing done, and I will talk to you all soon.